Karibu mtazamaji wa runinga ya Common. Hivi leo tumeweza kutembea katika hospitali ambayo ni kwa jina Raphael Family Hospital, ambayo ni hospitali ya kibinafsi ambapo tunaenda kuangazia mambo kadha wa kadha, mambo ambayo yanaathiri wanafunzi wa vyuo vikuu, haswa mahusiano. Wacha tukapate muuguzi ambaye ni mwenye hii hospitali atupe jina lake, alafu tuanze mahojiano moja kwa moja.
Asante. Kwa majina naitwa Felix Otino Biambo. Yes, I'm a nursing officer.
Yes.
By profession. I work in Raphael Family Hospital that is based in Kitere Center. Nurongo sub-county. Yes.
Siku unaponifahamu ni mwanahabari wa Njara Hoseah ama alimaarufu mstaarabu hapo Hoseah mbele ya makali siku zote nafoitwa kati, ili nikufahamisha mengi kuhusiana na mahusiano na pia matokeo yake, na pia ambavyo vinafanya ama vinachangia wanafunzi wa vyuo vikuu kujihusisha na mapenzi au mahusiano, na baadaye tunaona matokeo yanayotokea ambayo hayapendezi. Moja kwa moja tunaanza mahojiano yetu. Natumai kuna mambo kadha wa kadha tunajikita katika yale mazingira ya mahusiano. Wanafunzi wa vyuo vikuu tunapata habari ambazo hasipendezi, kwamba wanafunzi wanajikita ama wanajihusisha katika mapenzi, na tunaona kwamba baadaye wanajiua ama wanaua wapenzi wao. Je, unaona ni kwamba ni jambo la kufurahisha ama ni jambo ambalo unaona vipi? Hiyo ni suluhu ama kuna hiyo ndio suluhu ya kudumu ama kuna suluhu nyingine?
Asante sana bwana Hoseah.
Naam.
Ukweli ni kwamba hatuwezi jiepusha na mambo na mahusiano katika chuo kikuu.
Naam.
Ni mambo ambayo yamekuwa tangu zamani. Lakini kuna yale ambayo yametokea hivi karibuni ama kwa siku za kisasa ambayo tunaripotiwa mambo ama mambo ambayo hayawezi kupendeza masikio kabisa. Kwa maana unasikia visa za mauaji zimeongezeka, nao wengine wanajiua, wengine wanaua wenzao ambao walikuwa wanasema wanapendana nao, kisha wanajiua wenyewe. So unapata wazazi hatimaye wanapoteza wale ambao walikuwa na tegemeo lao katika chuo. Kwa hivyo kwa upande wangu ama kwa fikra zangu mimi mwenyewe siwezi kusema ni mambo mazuri, ni mambo mabaya.
Naam, na unapoona kwamba wanafunzi wanajihusisha katika mapenzi, kwamba ni nini ambacho wanastahili kuzingatia? Unaona kwamba yale mambo ambayo wanafanya, ama natumai kuna kitu ambacho kimeweza kukosekana, wanajihusisha kimapenzi, labda kama wakati hujafika. Je, ni vipi ama ni nini ambacho wanafunzi wanastahili kuangazia ndipo wakaingie kwa mahusiano, wala si kuamka tu na kusema nataka mpenzi na wanaingia katika mahusiano? Nini ambacho wanastahili kuangazia ili wajue ninapoingia katika mahusiano hiki sistahili kufanya na hiki nastahili kufanya?
Asante sana. Wanafunzi wanastahili, hasa wanafunzi wa chuo kikuu, wengi wao wanaingia chuo kikuu bila kuingia mambo na mapenzi huko awali. Kwa maana kwa zile research ambazo tumefanya, unapata wengi wao walikuwa wanasoma katika shule ya either girls school ama boys school. So most of them do not have the real experience of being in relationships. Some also join university without ever being in something called love. And probably because of the situation back at home, you realize that some are living under tight environment. That is probably because of the parental rules or the family rules. So some parents are very strict that they don't allow the children to mess. Then that also restricts the children, or rather the students, and they find it easy to engage in relationships, especially after joining university, because now they feel they have the freedom.
Exactly.
They have the freedom. Again, we have things like peer pressure. Peer pressure. For sure, Hoseah, you can't tell me that I'm your friend. I'm having my boyfriend, and you're not having one, and you won't get interested to be having one.
Yeah.
In one way or another, I will have to influence you so that you also have a friend, or if you are a lady,
just
you have
like
a
you.
boyfriend. Yes, just like me. I remember sometimes back in campus. I don't know whether it still happens these days, but we used to share a room, like 4 people. And I had this friend of mine who said that he was talking with his friend, and they were competing on the number of ladies that they will seduce in a week. And what they could say is they would target a lady, go hunt her, and when they win, they ensure that they sleep with her and have an evidence for that to prove, or rather to prove the other guy that they is more superior than
we are experiencing this.
Yes. Now there is the peer pressure. Will also make someone to engage, or rather to find themselves in such relationships that myself I will call toxic. The reason why I'm referring to them as toxic is because most of them are not predetermined to reach a place. They will get into relationships for pleasure. They will get into the relationship because of peer pressure. They will get into relationship to fulfill their lust. Some will get there just to prove their manhood or womanhood. I remember of a lady who joined university or campus without ever having a boyfriend. And he wanted to know what it tastes.
Curiosity.
Yes. Yeah. He wanted to know how it feels to have a boyfriend, how it feels to engage in sex. And so her first experience in having sex made her, or rather propelled her to continue having many of them. Yeah. So those are some of the few causes that I see are contributing to people getting into toxic relationships, or rather none. I call them toxic because, just as I said before, most of them are not predetermined to a certain place. The one that I will call a healthy relationship, and it's a relationship that someone gets in after he has examined, or she has examined herself, and they have decided that now this relationship, we are determined to do this and this. That is the relationship that is destined to marriage. I won't call that toxic. But these other ones, bestie, what, they end up calling themselves bestie, and after some time, bestie has impregnated the other and booted her at the same time.
Exactly. Natumai kuna jambo ambalo umeweza kupozia kuhusu wazazi, kwamba kuna wale wanafunzi ambao wanakaziwa wanapokuwa nyumbani. Unapojua kwamba hakuna mzazi ambaye anakubali mtoto wake aweze kupoteza ama kupotoka, na wanaposema kwamba wanapokuja chuo kikuu wanapata ile fursa ama we called freedom. Na kama pia unapoona kwamba wanafunzi wanaweza kupotoka ama wanapojua unaona kwamba unawaambiaje wazazi wafanye hivyo, kwa sababu wanafunzi wanapokuja chuo kikuu, kwa sasa wengi wanasema kwamba hao watoto wameshakuwa wakubwa, tena hakuna umuhimu wa kupeana kusema kwamba ushauri nasaha ama maarufu kati na counseling. Je, unaona kwamba wazazi pia waweza kutumika na kuambia wanafunzi, kuwapa ushauri nasaha kuhusu mahusiano? Unajua lazima waambie ukinakaubao kwamba hiki na hiki unastahili kufanya hivi, ama unaona vipi. Wazazi pia wachumweke ili wakaweza kusaidia kuzuia haya machanga ambayo tunaweza kupatana na wanafunzi kuwana na kuwa wengine.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for raising that question, Mr. Hoseah.
Yes.
Indeed, the parents play a very big role in that.
Yes.
And most of our fault as parents is that we become very strict on our children. We don't want to see them walking with any man or any lady. Most of the times, we become so strict until they fear us. That the fear that they have towards us will prevent them from having sexual talks with us, the parents. And if we don't have a sexual talk, of course, this child will grow up knowing sex is bad. Sex is bad. That is the only thing that he has in the mind. Sex is bad, or being in a relationship is bad. But they haven't actually been engaged on how to be in a healthy relationship. Now, to my opinion, where the parents are missing the point is when they tell their children about this, the negative sides of being in a relationship, and not telling them how to be in a healthy one, not knowing that these children, or rather these children, will eventually land in relationship, and that is what we call the sexual talk. Yes. So I feel that the parent should have time with their children. Let them discuss about these matters. Let them talk about sex. Let them talk about relationships, so that as the child will be moving from campus, or rather from home to campus, where he or she will have the freedom, he will know how to exercise his freedom in a safe way. I remember when I was just joining campus, my mother left me with one parting shot before I boarded the vehicle. You are going to campus. Know that the campus ladies are evil. So I came to campus. I saw with that mindset that they are evil. And I remember one thing I said is that I will declare myself married. So when I got to campus, I told everyone that I'm married. I bought myself a ring and put it inside my finger as an evidence that I'm married. So, of course, that I felt it could scare them away. But they still came. They still came. But now, of course, I had a way to defend myself. Something that I would also add to that is that despite the parental guide, sometimes we can also blame the students themselves, because the parents will talk to them when they are at home. When they get to campus, they find their peers who advise them otherwise. And of course, they will see from evidence that these people are enjoying. They walk they walk in pairs. They hold one another along the way. So they get interested. How can someone feel when they walk in pairs? So out of that curiosity, they can also get into that. Yeah. So for me, parental advice is key. But at the same time, it also requires the closeness, or rather the adherence of the child themselves. Yes.
Naam, exactly. Pia kuhusiana na hili jambo, pia kuna hiki kisa ambayo mwanafunzi wa chuo kikuu cha Kenyatta ambaye alifanya akaandika barua akaacha kwa nyumba, alafu baadaye akafanya aje, akajifungia kwa nyumba, akaacha jiko na akaweza kuaga dunia. Je, unaona aje ni kwamba kuna shule, unajua sasa tuseme hapo mwanafunzi mzazi hayuko hapo, mzazi yuko nyumbani. Je, unaona kwamba shule pia kuna mbinu zipi ama mikakati ipi ambayo shule inaweka ili pia kusaidia hao wanafunzi, ingalau wanapewa ule ushauri kwa wazazi, wanapikiwa simu kutoka nyumbani, lakini pia unaonaje ni kwamba kuna haja shule ama vyuo vikuu na vyuo vya kati kuweka angalau, kwa mfano tulipokuwa shule ya upili tulikuwa tunapewa ushauri na saa kama guiding and counseling, ilikuwa kwa ratiba kama ni Alhamisi wanasema ni siku ya kufanya aje, ya ikifika saa 9 mnaenda mnakusanyika kwa chumba cha maakuli ama mahali, mnaletewa mgeni ama mwalimu mmoja wapo wa walimu anakuja anafaje, anawapa ushauri. Je, unaona kwamba vyuo vikuu na vyuo vya kati kuna haja ya kuja na njia ambayo pia itasaidia wanafunzi kuwaeleza kinakaubaka jinsi ya kuingia katika sio kwamba healthy relationship and pia matokeo ama effects of unhealthy relationship?
Very true, Mr. Hoseah. Most schools have got plans and they have set up the guiding and counseling departments that handles these issues. But again, the student staff's ratio cannot match that. And you will realize that maybe in a school you have what, 2 or 3 guiding and counseling masters, or rather those the staffs who does that. And the same school is having like let me talk of 500 or 1,000 students. Yes. Now that ratio cannot match. And then if you talk of grouping the students so that they are being talked to openly, or rather in groups, that some students have got personal feelings that they cannot share in public. Now, I've seen a certain program that was working. It's called peer counseling. And the peer counseling involved a group training some students, a number of students, or rather group of students, and these groups are targeting several groups of students within the school. The peer counselors, having undergone that training, they will be it will be easy for them to reach that student who is needing that specific advice, and even if he or she will not be able to solve that case, he will create that referral network for this student to be helped, other than leaving the student who is there to look for the counselor direct. It becomes very tedious, or rather uneasy for some of the students. So as for me, in as much as the student, or rather the schools or universities have laid down strategies like having counselors, they should also bring the aspect of peer counseling, where a peer would advise a peer, and in case in case it's not adding, or rather they are not solving the issue, this peer is able to channel, or rather to refer appropriately.
Naam, na pia tunapokuangazia pia hao wanafunzi kuna kitu ambacho kinaudhi, ama unapoangalia wengi, kuna matukio mengi ambayo tumeweza kushuhudia, hata natumai pia umeweza kushuhudia kwa wanafunzi katika mahusiano, kwamba wengi, ama tuseme wote ambao tumeweza kupata visa vyao, ni kwamba wengi wanapokosana na wapenzi wao, suluhu wanayopata ni kuue ama tukufe wote. Je, wewe kibinafsi unaambiaje wanafunzi wa vyuo vikuu? Je, hiyo ndio suluhu ya kudumu, ama kuna suluhu mkapala kando ya hiyo wanaweza chukua, badala ya kuua na aue mwenzake ama wakufe wote?
Thank you very much. That's quite interesting. These people goes into relationship blinded. And I remember when I was young, they used to tell us that love is blind. And because love is blind, you enter there because out of curiosity, or out of you want to do something, you want to prove your superiority and all that. So once you get there, you don't know that there are some challenges that you will meet when you are in that relationship. Remember, this person, you are getting him or her when you are both adults. There's a way they are brought up. There's what they will need. Everyone gets into the relationship with a target, with an objective. There is something that they want to get from that relationship. Some also have different expectations. Now, if these people feel that their expectations are not met, that's where the conflict begins. Now, these people need to undergo counseling. They need to be talked to. They need to be told the strategies of conflict resolution. That is the only thing that is lacking. But killing one another, or rather committing suicide, is never a solution. It is never a solution, and it brings more harm than help. To me, I used to talk. I was a peer counselor back in campus, and I used to tell them that now, take an example. You realize that your boyfriend is cheating on you, and you decide to commit suicide because of that. Because you are heartbroken, you commit suicide. What do you think it's going to change? Is it going to destroy the relationship between that with the lady, the other lady, and this one? They will continue. They will enjoy life. Of course, they will mourn. the school will mourn. They will come to your funeral, and probably both of them will come and eat meat in your funeral. You get that? Now, killing yourself or killing the other is never a solution. Look for amicable ways of conflict resolution. That will be my point. And that one they can only get when they undergo counseling. If they are sure of this relationship and they have predetermined its destiny, they need to be open, look for premarital counseling. Let them be advised, let them be taught on how to handle these differences, on how to handle their expectations, on how to solve conflicts once they get into the relationship. Because conflicts will always be there. Difference in ideas will always be there. But what they need is to be taught on how to solve them once they come. Yes.
Na pia ni vizuri sana unaweza kutuelezea kinakaubaka, na pia swali lingine kwamba je, hao wanafunzi wengi wanajiuliza katika mahojiano, je, una uhakika ama unaona vipi kwamba haya mahusiano yanaweza dumu mpaka waoane, waanze maisha? Je, unaona kwamba haya mahusiano ya vyuo ya wanafunzi wa vyuo vikuu wanaweza dumu mpaka waoane, ama ni mchezo tu wa paka na panya?
Thank you very much. It works. It works. Just as I told you before, it depends on the expectations and the we call the objectives that someone gets into the relationship. The people that who have been married from campus, they have families. They read from the same class, probably the same class, or maybe someone is higher was ahead of the other, and the relationship of work, they are having children, they are married. But some again could get into the relationship in first year, first semester. Before the first semester ends, that relationship is over. They open the next semester with another relationship. Just as I was telling you, there are some relationships that also last for weeks, depending on what objective that they have in that relationship. I have told you a story of my friend, or rather my roommate, who was having an objective of killing as many, proving that he is a man enough, and seducing as many as possible, sleeping with as many as possible. Now, for those relationships, their main target or their main objective was to have sex with the lady, prove it that they have had sex with her. After that, that relationship is over. It won't last. They look for another lady. Look at that. But there are those who say that now we want to test this relationship. We want to see what is there in the relationship. They get in there, they live maybe for months, maybe for a semester also. They find it tough. Everyone comes with their own needs. They fall off from it. Some people, another group now, are those people who now have made up their mind that they want to get married. They look for a lady, they agree, they settle in the relation, they work on it, and then they just have it for the rest of their lives. It has worked. It works for people. It depends on what moves you into it. Yes.
So kwamba ni malengo ambayo unaweka kwa akili mnapoingia katika mahusiano, ndio atafanya. Wengine wanataka kuprove kama kuona kwamba wao ndio wanaume, kama kwamba waliokuwa wanaishi na yeye kwa room moja. Na pia kando na hayo pia wanafunzi, kando na kujiua na kuoana, pia mahusiano pia kuna yale matokeo, we call it consequences. Unawapea vipi ushauri kwamba kuna ile ambayo kuna magonjwa, pia kuna ujauzito hapo, unawaambia vipi wanafunzi wanapojihuisha na mahusiano katika vyuo vikuu, yale matokeo ambayo yanaweza wapata? Kama wewe muuguzi, unaona kwamba unawapa ushauri upi kwa wanafunzi wa vyuo vikuu wale ambao sio kwamba hawawezi epuka, they cannot avoid, but ni vipi ambavyo wanastahili kufanya kukaa katika ile mahusiano yao?
Thank you very much. Someone getting into a relationship must have it in mind that it's an added responsibility. The core responsibility of a student when they get to campus is to study. That is what have brought her from their home for them to come to that institution, institution of higher learning. Now, when they get into relationship, they have to know that it is an added responsibility. Some of them get into it knowing that things will move normal. Once you get into relationship, one thing I know, things will never move normal. Yes, that is where you have to start balancing yourself. Of course, I can't say that it's evil to have relationship in campus because these people are adults. And maybe that is their life partner that they have identified. It's not evil. But are you prepared for it? Ask yourself, are you prepared to be in that relationship? Are you ready to get into that relationship? Are you ready to service that relationship? Because relationship is just like a vehicle. You have to service it. If you don't service it, it will grow old. Yes. You have to service it. You have to ensure that it works. And then one important thing that I was taught from childhood is that sex before marriage is unacceptable. It's not right. Yes. That is what I was taught. That is the principle that I was taught back from my childhood. Now, you realize that most of the relationships in a campus are targeted towards sex. And that is where the downfall comes from. Now, I've heard of ladies speaking of who is hotter than who, men having such discussion. In as much as men will never talk of such stories openly, but ladies will discuss. I had a night with so and so, and it was wow. And remember, the friend that is discussing the same with will have an interest on enjoying or rather having experience of what the other lady had, and that one also affects. And now you will realize that these people will have their motives in campus diverted. They went to learn, to study, but now they are more into relationship than studies. They are more into parties than studies. They are more into bashes than studies. And that one will eventually affect the outcome of their being in campus. You realize that some of them start missing classes, some of them start meeting exams, and for men, and this we've seen several of them, will even miss exams simply because they were not able to pay fee. They ate the fee that was sent to him with a girlfriend. And that one will make some of them differ. Owing to the fact that maybe the parents are not able to raise any other, or the parents are very cruel, cannot send any money. So they will have to differ, and maybe that will affect their academics. Yes, so I think that is another key effect that these people have. But for those people who have determined to have it work, they must balance. Yes, they must strike a balance. They have to know that the reason as to why they are in campus is simply to study. Yes, so the relationship comes as an AOB, and they still work. They balance for a time. Because relationship requires time. I remember I studied in a mixed secondary school. I had a friend who was happened to be having a girlfriend, and the only joy that they had was to be with this girlfriend almost every time. In their class, during prep time, they want to be with her. Every time they want to be with her. And this one really affected their performance. Because how do you expect to study when you are sitting with your girlfriend next to you, and you say that you are revising? You can't revise. You can't revise. Yeah, you can't add affection to professionalism. You can't.
Naam, kwanza nataka kunikupea swali la kizushi hapa. Umeweza kusema kwamba wewe ulipokuwa unaenda chuo kikuu uliambia mama kwamba wasichana ni shetani, girls are devils. Pia ukanipea mfano kwamba ulinunua pete, ring, ukaweka mkono ili kujizuia. Yaani mtu anapoangalia anaona kwamba huyu jamaa ashachukuliwa, ameacha bibi nyumbani. Unataka kuambia kwamba chuo kikuu huko kujihusisha mpaka mwaka wa kwanza mpaka mwaka wa mwisho, ama ilikuwa vipi? Kwa maana ulikuwa na strategy, ulikuwa na njia nyingine kali sana kwamba umeweka pete. Ila kibai nao ulikuja rekodi chuo, ulikuja rekodi. Je, ulichihusisha ama uliweka hivyo na ikamaanisha hivyo? Hebu tupe Hoseah wako tuone, labda watazamaji wetu pia ukiweza kuona kwamba unajua kuna watu wanasema kwamba huwezi kaa bila mahusiano. Hatuwezi kaa bila mahusiano. Je, wewe uliweka na ukafaulu ama ilikuwa vipi?
I happened to be very principled in campus. And you remember in campus the first year, the first classes, they are not always serious, and it's more of introduction. Every lecturer will come and say, now let's have an introduction. You say your name, where you come from, your marital status, and etc.
Exactly.
And what I maintained is that I was married, so people started respecting me. they started respecting my cycles. They could come, and to be funny enough, sometimes back now, I remember when now we were towards the 4th year, someone just became open and told me, "Hey, but you've killed many girls." Many girls are really frustrated. No, they are frustrated because of you. You don't want to propose to them. And what I did is that, just as I maintained that I'm married, I'm having a kid, and I was having a ring. It was until when I felt I had an advisor, because when I was in 3rd year, I felt that now it's high time that I get into a relationship, because a counselor advised me that if you want to get married from campus, then don't have the relationship early. Have the relationship when maybe you have finished campus, or rather when you are in the final year. So when I was in my final year, that is 4th year, I identified a lady. The first question she asked me, "But you are married?" Okay. I had to explain myself to defend myself. I told them, I gave her all the reasons why I did that. Yeah, and remember, because of that, in 1st year, I was made to be the class prefect. Simply because I was speaking audibly, and I was married, so I was mature than almost everyone. They say, okay, to them I was mature because I'm married, and every other person is not. So there is that respect that accrued. I built close relationship with the lecturers and everyone else. So when I was in 3rd year, I became the campus president. Towards the 4th year, I now decided that I want to get into a relationship. I looked for someone who is understanding, and that was the only relationship that I was in campus, that I married. Yes. So that is why I'm telling you it works. Yes.
Naam, barabara kabisa. Natumai wapenzi watazamaji wa runinga ya Common mmeweza kujifunza mengi. Yule mwanafunzi wa chuo kikuu ambao umeweza kutazama ama utatazama hiki kipindi, na kama pia ni mzazi ambao unatazama hii runinga ya Common, kuambia mtoto wako ama mtoto wako yule aliye katika chuo kikuu chochote ama chuo cha kati, ili akafike pale Common TV. Unaweza tupata katika mitandao ya kijamii ikiwa Facebook Common TV, YouTube CMTV or Common TV, YouTube Common TV, TikTok Common TV, Instagram Common TV, ili tukufahamishe mengi, kufahamike, ili usitafute fahamu kwingine. Leo tumeweza kuwa na mahojiano kuhusu mahusiano ya wanafunzi wa vyuo vikuu, ambao tumeweza kutembea leo katika hospitali we called Raphael Family Hospital Kitere, ambayo inapatikana mahali ambapo panaitwa Kitere, ambayo ni hospitali ya kibinafsi called private hospital, ambapo tumeweza kujifunza mengi mno. Usihadithiwe, bali wewe mwenyewe fika ukajionee. Mimi siku zote niite mwanahabari mstaarabu Hoseah Jembele Nyamakali, ama niite journalist Hoseah. Naye tumekuwa na yeye ambaye tumekuwa anatupea wosia ama mambo kinakaubaka. Wacha tukumbushe jina lake, labda jina lake.
Thank you very much. I have to repeat my name. I'm Felix Otieno. I work as a proprietor and a healthcare provider in Raphael Family Hospital, that is in Kitere. It's situated next to Kaluma Hostel, along around 100 meters from the police station on your way back to Kanga, and around 500 meters from the university, that is Rongo University. You can reach us here. We work 24 hours. We offer a number of services. If you will allow me, then I will list the number of services.
Yes.
Thank you very much. In Raphael Family Hospital, we offer almost all services except for main surgical procedures. We offer accident and emergency services. We offer maternity services for mothers who want to deliver. We offer antenatal clinic services for mothers who are expectant and they want to come for clinic. We offer such services. We offer laboratory services. We test all diseases, both blood tests, both urine tests, with the stool tests, and even the ones that require saliva. All those can be And we also have imaging services, though that we don't do here. We have our branch where we do the imaging services. If you need any imaging services, you can pass by, we can discuss and advise you. Most importantly, according to the topic that we have had today of interview, we offer guiding and counseling services. Yes, we love mentoring youth. We love guiding them. We also want them to grow as more responsible youths. So if you need some counseling, you can also pass by. We'll get services. We have inpatient and outpatient services. Yeah, we have wards. We admit both children, we admit adults, we admit both males and females. So you can come anytime. Now, we work 24 hours. Yes, we operate 24 hours, both night and day, 7 days in a week. So there is no time that you will come to Rafa Family Hospital and miss a service. Yes, you can also leave our contact.
Yes.
Just in case you may need. That is 0718782087. Thank you.
Naam, so kwamba karibu tena katika Rafa Family Hospital iliyo katika Tere. Fika pale, umeweza kuambia huduma ambazo zinapewana hapa. Fika ili ukaweza kuhudumiwa ama upate huduma bora. Leo najua umeweza kujifunza mengi, na tena tupatane siku nyingine ambayo tutaanza kuangazia tena mada nyingine. Pia tulipokuwa hapa, yule ambaye kwa nyuma ya kamera ambaye ameweza kufanikisha haya mahojiano ni mwanahabari Edwin Ocheng ama aka Swale, ambaye amekuwa nyuma ya kamera. Asante sana kwa kufanikisha haya mahojiano. Kumbuka ni Common TV, ulipo it is your truest news partner. Bye bye.